Welcome to DXdao governance discussion for Wednesday, March 22nd, and happy spring. Let's look at the agenda first. As always, we'll start with the proposal roundup. We have the mainnet ones that are live, and then one on Gnosis, and then we have a couple different discussion items here to quickly go over the rep claim guide, quarterly guild updates, and maybe a little highlight on some of the ARB token incentives around Swapper and see the discussion there. So let's start with the proposal roundup, going over mainnet. I think 11 proposals boosted or pending boosting here. And so we can see the different ones here. We have Medusa, a vested DXD claim from June 21st to February 22nd. So there you can see this is the first DXD claim for Medusa, who's coming up on his 2-year anniversary there. Caney Fork voted for this one. And then next up, we have a DXdao related names reimbursement. This has not been voted on, but I would encourage people to vote, and I will look at it if no one else does. But one of the reasons I like this proposal is it was one of these that can be verified, like all on chain. So basically the owner of this account is asking for reimbursement for a bunch of transactions they've done on behalf of DXdao. And so these are, I guess, the gift. Well, this is a gift transaction here. Actually, this first one might be the wrong address because this says May 26th. But yeah, you see this one right here. This is a transfer here to DXdao there, and then you can actually go back and see how much the actual registration, I think, what was of this contract. I'm trying to actually understand a little bit about where the gas cost. The gas cost, I think, is for the registration and the purchase of these. Not exactly. Renew all. Here we go. Yeah. All right. So here we go. This is, yeah, the address that renewed all. You can see 0.122 here for that, along with the other numbers in there. And then here's another one that's a big renew DXfi. Yeah, that's one that cost a big chunk there, but good four-letter ENS ones. So I will have to look a little bit closer at these because they do. I guess some of these are older registration because this one looks like it was registered in June 2020 for 0.68 and then is now being transferred now. DX Labs. Okay, so that's a proposal there to have a close look at that one. And then we have another Mainnet rep sync for Boris Block. This is the second one for Boris Block here. I think it does 6 months, or a little more than that, since May of 2022 there. And so these are ones that have all been approved on Gnosis chain, and he's syncing it over to Mainnet here. And then there was also a Wayne rep sync Gnosis chain to Mainnet. This is Wayne's second one, and this includes October and November, and this is also the first one that includes the January and February rep amounts, which Wayne has already claimed on Gnosis chain. We will get to the process of how to do this for others in a second going forward. But this is, one from Wayne for another rep sync here. I think it is 0.82% rep. I think that was the last of the rep. Yeah, that's the last of the rep ones. And then we have 2 Swapper Guild H1 2023 event stipends. So these, I'm also looking for some votes here. So this is based on the event stipend budget that was put forth by Melanie and contributor X, and it gives percentages for each of the contributors to be able to claim that. And I believe it is actually says the Swapper multi-sig, but I'm pretty sure this is the multi-chain multi-sig here. And then the same thing for Carrot here. Based upon the percentage time working for the guild and the overall contributor event stipend there. And you can see here it's 6,000 USDC and the other one is 7,000 there. So those are some good votes there. Then we have a level K vested DXD claim. This is the second vested DXD claim from John. He had a posted in the forum a few days ago, the updated numbers there. And then the last boosted proposal, or this is on the funding and voting power, the last boosted proposal is the Operations Guild H1 2023 onboarding and funding treasury manager. This was posted in the forum last week. We discussed it on the call last week, and then there was some discussion in the forum, and then Melanie posted on Monday night and we started the boosting period then, and it just started that last night, and we can see we've got 2 votes on it here. So yeah, not much more I think to say about this. Has been a pretty hot topic the last month or two, and I'm hoping that this proposal will go through and be able to set a new foundation for a lot of the work we can do on the Treasury side of things. So I wasn't sure if anyone had any thoughts or comments on this proposal or any of the other live proposals we just went through. Because we don't have Maddie on the, oh, we do have Maddie on the call. Not that we need to say anything, but awesome. So this will be up for another 6 days, and we'll get an update there. So that's the funding and voting power scheme. And then on the multi-call scheme, there are 3 different proposals boosted here. There is a CalSwap WETH DXD order at 0.4685 that is going to pass in 3 days and 2 hours. Just a reminder, you need to place a limit order to be able to access these. You can do that on CalSwap or Swapper. Both have CalSwap limit orders, so you can do that there. So this is a WETH DXD one. And then this is a LUSD DXD one, which you can see is placed at 751, which is a little bit below the market price. Same thing happened kind of a month and a half ago when I was hoping to do some more stablecoin trades to kind of even out some of the ETH trades that we're doing for this. But every time I've submitted the stablecoin trades, ETH has skyrocketed right after. And so you can see that this might not be that appealing to buy into just because the price of DXD has changed because the price of ETH has moved so much. But anyway, this will be live in 7 days, almost 8 days there. And then there was another WETH order submitted 2 days ago. Here you can see 0.5460194 WETH to DXD. That is a little bit lower than the previous one because the way that you could think about the price of DXD and the price of ETH works is actually like an inverse relationship. So when ETH goes up, that drives up the value of the treasury overall, and DXD is more valuable from a dollar standpoint. But from an ETH price perspective, it actually goes down a little bit because the dollars become because DXD has some dollars components of it. So that's why you can see here that this 0.54 is actually a little bit less than the one that was submitted 2 weeks ago when ETH was a little bit higher. So those are the 3 buyback orders there. Yeah, any questions, comments on those? Awesome. Moving to Gnosis chain, there's actually only one live proposal. Excuse me, there's one that is able to be executed and one that is live. These are both from Federico, and they're both late contributor proposals for work already done in the fall. So we're still clearing through some of these proposals. This one I think is for September, and no, it's October and November here. So this one has already passed. As I said here, you can see all of the proof of work done and then the specific amount of time that Lucy Foss worked, and this one here will boost in a couple hours here. There's lots of great things on Carrot. It's a good time to maybe just give a shout out for Carrot. There's lots of fun things that I see in terms of the MVP, and following around the development channel is exciting, and looking for exciting things there. But yeah, that's the only ones on Gnosis chain right now. Okay, that's it for the proposal roundup. Moving on to a couple discussion items here. The first one is DXdao Contributor Rep Claim Guide 2023. I do not believe that Ali is on the call, but this is something I know Melanie. Yeah, Melanie, do you want to chat about this?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk quickly through it. So this is the DXdao contributor rep claim guide for 2023. So this basically outlines how to claim your DXdao rep now that we have transitioned completely to guilds, because even though we have transitioned to guilds, each DXdao contributor is still, of course, eligible to earn rep each month directly from DXdao. But basically, this is just a temporary process of how to claim your DXdao rep until we are actually able to execute batch rep proposals. So, and the process is that basically each DXdao contributor is responsible for claiming the rep. They should, request it in their individual guild contributor payment proposal. Then the contributor X will publish the individual rep rewards every month on DAO Talk. The contributors can then claim their rep in either 3 or 6 month proposals on Mainnet after posting the rep issuance on DAO Talk. So this is important to note because currently, this is like a reverse process. We're going to be claiming our rep on Mainnet first, and then syncing it to Gnosis chain once it's been claimed. So important to note that it's not claiming it first on Gnosis chain and then syncing it to Mainnet. It is reversed. And then, yeah, if you do have any questions about how to do this, you can reach out to myself or Allie. I'll be posting a proposal on how to do this process first, just to give everybody kind of an example of what to do and how to claim their rep. Yeah.
And the big difference in how this has worked before is that individual contributors will not be doing the rep amount calculation themselves. So right here we say the proposal to claim their DXD rep, the percentage of rep of earn is affected by the contributor's time commitment. That's the only thing contributors need to put in there. And contributor X will have a single rep number for that month that will be used to determine that specific rep amount for that contributor. So this is the same thing that we do for DXD, right? Where people put in, I'm earning X amount in dollars of DXD a month. But then when we translate that actually into the amount of DXD issued, we use this same 30-day average for that month for all contributors. And so that's what this sheet is here, right? You can see here, these are the amounts that the contributors are working in terms of what they should get. And then this was the overall rep amount in January. And this is the overall rep amount in February. And this is overall rep amount in March. So to get your own numbers for this, you'll just simply multiply this by that, and then add it up together for those. And then just to reiterate what Melanie said about starting with Mainnet first, it should be less of an issue because we will have a definitive number that should be claimed on any chain, right? We will have a source of truth for that. I mean, of course, the source of truth is just like a Google Sheets here. It is always cleaner to ensure that you have the mainnet rep sync and then be able to claim that other sync on other chains. So this is actually the backwards process that Wayne just did here, where he first claimed his Gnosis chain rep and then claimed his mainnet rep. Because now with guilds, you can get that initial approval or tacit approval from your guild in your guild worker proposal. And that's what you're using to reference when you go and use your rep sync there. So I think in general, the key thing is being able to have a single number for the month so that we can always determine what that rep award issuance is. But Wayne, you inspired us to make sure and actually put out a process and think about this. So without Wayne, we wouldn't have been here.
How will this work for the 4% max limit?
Yeah, so that should still, yeah, I mean, that's a good question in terms of that. So basically, you still should not be able to claim more than 4%, right? And so I think that should only matter when you're going to make your claim. Like, so I think for Caney Fork, I think is like 3.77%, but has not earned the rep from January, February, and March. So that would be like this amount times this. So that would probably put Caney Fork a little bit above the 4%. But I think the way that we would just go about it is you would just only could claim that amount in the mainnet proposal. I'm not sure if you need to do anything different in the guild proposal itself. We should just be vigilant on accounts not requesting more than 4%. Does that make sense, or do you think we should incorporate something else here?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's a better way. That's it. Because if we have to keep an eye on things, it's harder to do that when we are doing for like 25, 30 people. Then if it is like a single proposal, then it's easier to see how much rep he's claiming, how much rep this account has and everything. But then if it is going to be on like 30 different people, there's like a lot of things that we might miss. So
yeah. Maybe the short term, what we're talking about here, this is where, like, when we look at the key, like, governance, okay, we're checking this, this is where we want to enforce things, right, is always going to be when you actually have a rep issuance. And so I'm looking at these right here for Boris Block and for Wayne. And I think the key thing would be, is there any proposal here that these two numbers are going to add up to more than 4%? And I think any of those should be voted down. And I think that's probably the best place for that check, rather than worrying about incorporating it here. But I think everyone who's submitting their rep sync should obviously, be aware of that.
So still individual people will request their rep.
Yeah, so this process here that they laid out, this is what we need now for individual rep awards, because we're still in that world until we get the 1.5 contracts updated. And once we do that, then we can do batch rep awards. And so that's one of the reasons why we also want to shift towards this system, because this system will be a good way to do that quarterly rep issuance when it is to 20 different addresses, because we will have all of those rep awards documented by contributor X. Everyone can validate that those are the right awards, and then we'll have like a big on-chain proposal that will have all of those laid out, and it'll be a single proposal, and that should make it easier for people. And so that's why we want to have this system now. But we still can't do that now, because the only way we can get rep is through a single proposal. So we have to do that still this way. The good news, I think, also about that is, since we are going to be launching 1.5 first on Gnosis chain, we should actually be able to remove, and maybe this is Ross, the DXgov team might get mad at me for saying this, but I think we may be able to remove the need to do Gnosis chain rep syncs in the next couple of months, because we can automatically do a rep sync from mainnet to Gnosis chain using the 1.5 contracts every couple of months. So I think that will be hopefully in Q2, and then maybe in the second half of the year, we're using mainnet governance 1.5 contracts to do these multiple rep issuances every quarter, I think. Augusto.
Yes, every scheme has a maximum amount of percentage of reputation that they can change. For example, like 5 or 10%. That is a security security check, right? Because right now, if you can mint like 100% reputation. If you can create a proposal to mint 100% reputation and take over the DAO by minting out of rep. Right now, in what we are using, DAO 1.5 will allow you to create multiple proposal with multiple calls and multiple means of rep. So you will be able to sync up to a certain percentage. So as long as it's below that, yeah, I think we will be all right to create one proposal syncing the rep per month, and that should be enough.
Yeah, I think the key thing is we'll be able to have a different process with 1.5 contracts, but we need a bridge to get this there. And I think this helps. And the key thing is also because we haven't really clarified what the rep issuance was for the DXdao rep issuance was for contributors now that we've shifted to guilds. But I think this clearly establishes like the continuation of the 0.1667% for a full-time contributor that has become, a standard of DXdao compensation for the last couple years. I think we want to continue that. And yeah, but we have to figure out a way to track it in a way that we can validate when there are these awards. And I think having a contributor X spreadsheet of this to double check is the best way. And like, I think on the guilds now, for instance, reminds me we need to check this out on the operations guild. You can do like your monthly rep issuance of your guild rep through a single proposal, like pretty automatically. And I know DXgov has done that, but I think we should encourage the other guilds to do that as well. Okay, moving on to the next item, just a repeat of announcement last week talking about having quarterly guild updates in the Q2 funding proposal. So I've seen a couple different drafts of these already in terms of just giving an update on different things. You can see here, this is the rough template that we want to be able to post in the forum. So one, a progress report on the guild's goals, milestones, and responsibilities laid out in the approved 1H 2023 budgets. Two, unexpected items that came up during Q1 were not planned for. So, this was everything that the guild was planning to do. What's the progress report on those? And then two is, well, what didn't come up and what were those things? Could they have been foreseen, but how did that affect guild performance? And then the third thing is a rundown of the contingent items that were approved in Q1 along with incurred regular expenses. So just like a brief kind of overview of that, maybe a link to the proposals, the on-chain funding proposals for DXgov and Swapper there as well. And I can help out with that one as well. So yeah, as I said, I looked at a couple of these and working on the Operations Guild one now. I'm getting it, I'm going to send it around to the rest of the guild members today, and then I will hopefully have it posted by the end of the week, and should be a template for others that for their quarterly reports. Yeah, and I think, as I said on here, the goal is to have these by April 15th, which is 3.5 weeks from today. Cool. And then last item, only because it could have been in the also worth checking out topic, but I thought it was fun enough that I wanted to draw some attention to it here, is, yeah, there's been an ARB token, or the ARB token has dropped or is going to drop tomorrow. And a key part of that as it relates to DXdao is there is a airdrop to DAOs or projects that have been active on Arbitrum, and Swapper was the first token airdropped on Arbitrum back in September 2021. So I hope all of you that participate in DXdao governance on Arbitrum or kind of interacted with Swapper have checked your eligibility on your wallets, and hopefully you're getting some ARB token airdrop from there. And it's good that I think lots of people in the DXdao community, lots of people in the Swapper community have been involved in Arbitrum and are also getting the airdrop. So it's a nice it's a nice tide to lift all boats. But on top of that, there is a DAO specific airdrop to Swapper, I think for 500K ARB tokens. And so Vinky, I think, had started a little bit of conversation in the forum about, well, what to do about the launch of ARB. What does that mean for trying to attract liquidity to Swapper, ARB liquidity itself using Swapper token? And then what about the plans to use the ARB token itself? What are the plans for that? So I think still lots of things up in the air right now, but I think something to discuss. Vinky, I don't know if you want to chat about anything specifically or run through.
Yeah, I mean, I have a suggestion that the link that I have given here has like a small detail about it. Basically, going 2/3 for ARB-VET and VET USDC. So yeah, I had to change the price of Swapper a little bit. I had 0.03 until yesterday. So I was thinking that maybe we could do something like this, ARB-VET, where we give away some Swapper, 2000 Swapper, 100 Arbitrum, and 0.2 VET. And it comes to around 600 USD right now. And VET USDC is basically like 500 Swapper, 50 ARB, and 0.1 VET. We could start with like a 2-week campaign and then see how well we are doing this, and then extend it to the next 4 weeks or 8 weeks.
One question about fees.
Yeah.
Or just maybe, is there anything to do with fees in addition to the incentives? So I mean, we were talking before about how when a token drops, there's so much activity
Yeah.
going on, and so maybe there's an opportunity to jack up.
Yeah.
the fee.
I think we could start with 0.25, and then decide upon the volume that we are getting. Then we can increase the fees. Increasing fees, I think it's the concurrence that's a problem. If we can all agree on the fees, I think changing the fees is a little bit simpler. I just need to tell Federico and make him available. Apart from that, I probably like 0.25% might bring a lot of volume, because it's the aggregators that will drive a lot of volume, I believe. And then
Thank you. This is that's 600 and 260
yeah,
is what?
that's the USD amount. Sorry, that's the USD amount. So basically, like 2000 Swapper at 0.08 USD, 100 Arbitrum at around $1, 0.2 VET at around $1,700. That comes to around 600.
So
I can
$900 per week in rewards.
Yeah, first 2 weeks
to get 10% market share of Arbitrum DEX trading for ARB token.
Yeah.
I mean, those dollar amounts are not big enough to get 10% of the market share for ARB token, right? I mean, the 10%, like the ARB token might have billions of dollars of trading, and there's going to be some DEXs with major. I mean, we don't know how systems are reward it, but I mean, $600 is effectively zero, right? $600 is nothing.
For 2 weeks, it's a short amount.
For 1 week, $600 a week. I think it's too low.
Like what's the biggest DEX? I mean, I would imagine other rewards are going to be millions of dollars, right?
Per week?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. Who?
Yeah, well, I guess like Sushi got, I think.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they would.
You're gonna pay for legal.
For Sushi or Uni or any of these big DEXs or Arbitrum, I don't think they. I think they have a big enough community that will just provide liquidity. But for us, I think we have to incentivize a little bit to get the liquidity. And maybe 600 is not enough. Maybe we could increase it. But what would you suggest? What would you suggest the numbers should be?
I don't know, but I just know people don't do stuff for $600 split between everyone. Yeah, my view is we should, like, if we're gonna do a campaign and we want to spend real money as a marketing campaign, we could use like WETH and USDC and DXD, but like I don't actually think we should use ARB as liquidity mining token unless we get ARB token specifically for that use. And ideally, if we're going to do that, we should ask for it, and we should. But to capture this early, brand new, like brand token, like if we want to make a big push on Arbitrum to like do a marketing spend to like get attention and get a bunch of liquidity to Swapper, we need like, you know, $50,000, $20,000 of DXD as incentives or something.
Yeah.
Like
Anyway,
get the attention. Yeah.
I was okay. The way that I was thinking about these numbers are like, if we do $1,000 a week, and then if we do this for 3 months, that's like $15,000, right? It is a lot, at least for the size of the DAO that we are, and for the. I mean, we cannot just go in and then bet everything that we have on it and not see any results. And we would want to. This is just trying to test the waters, and then if we see that the APYs get lower than 5%, then we know that there's a lot of TVL, there is a lot of staking, and then we increase the rewards. But we have no clue how this is going to go up or down. So,
what's the size of the pool for APY of 5%, roughly? For a week, like, is it like $60,000 in TVL or something? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm all up for testing something, and then if it's doing something, but you have to think of this as a marketing expense. Like this isn't likely going to make back protocol. This isn't going to make back protocol fees of the spend. This is like a marketing expense to attract attention to Swapper during the ARB token launch, right?
I mean, this will bring a lot of protocol fee. If we have deep liquidity, this is going to be. I mean, we will see like how we saw Cow launch, right?
Yeah, but didn't we had much bigger rewards on those pools, right?
Well, there was rewards from Cow too.
Yeah.
And we were like the exclusive one on Gnosis chain, I think.
Yeah.
There is a lot of trading activity in those like first couple days, and I think if you can capture that, then it's very much worth it. And that's why I was saying I think it makes sense to turn the fees up, because you know the price is moving around so much that it doesn't. I think the fees are less of a concern to people. But I just think it's going to be tough to capture what is probably going to be like I mean, there'll be probably like $100 million traded in the first day or two, more than that probably. And that will probably need, that's some very, very big liquidity. And so the question is, can we get any of that to come to Swapper in those first couple of days? But anyway, I was more thought it was interesting to talk about ARB, and I think there's some discussion on it in the forum here. So maybe we can open that up for a little bit. A little more. And then also, like, we're still working on getting this exact DAO airdrop from Swapper. By the way, I think it's a very cool thing that Arbitrum is doing, and I think it's a great way to like get tokens, not just in the people trying to farm the airdrop, but the communities themselves that have been there. And like, you know, DXdao and Swapper has been there from the beginning, before the beginning, right? It's been 2 years since we've been talking with the Arbitrum group. So I think it's a nice reward for that. But then, yeah, the question of what to do with those rewards. Do we use them to help govern Arbitrum? You know, it's similar to what we did with ENS. Is it something we use to help fund Swapper, right? To pay for Swapper? Is it we use it for liquidity mining, as we're talking about here, or do we use it maybe even as like some type of airdrop or something to Swapper token holders as a like pass through there? So I think there's a lot of different options with that we can start to think about in the coming days. Cool. Thank you. You want to?
I mean, I just have a response for Ross asking about. I mean, Swapper around 40K. I mean, we should be able to pull out protocol fees, converting the LP tokens that are as fees to the native token. Else, we will just keep losing because we just suffer from impermanent loss. I mean, just the first 2 days of cow, we earned about 6,000 in protocol fees, but then it was just there as in the cow with pair or the cow XDAI pair, and then we lost all of it. Now the LP tokens are nothing. So yeah, that's the reason. So you cannot just calculate that it is 40K, but then it is 40K is suffering from the impermanent loss if we don't take protocol fee at the right time.
Okay. Cool. All right. That was it for the discussion items. Just a couple different things also worth checking out. Should be bolded. Stackly Effortless DCA. Just a very clean post here from Venki here about a very cool tool that I have used that I'm excited to see potentially more. It's doing dollar cost averaging there. And then just a reminder, next week on Monday, there is a Priorities Board monthly check-in, and then at 1700 UTC. And then on Thursday, there is a DXd Monetary Policy Committee morning, 1400 UTC, an hour before the community call. And then I don't know if this was able to be shared in the forum, but I thought it was it was a fun thing to check out, was this Gov 1.5 and 2.0 explainer that Wayne has put together that was based on the presentation that Augusto, Milton, and Federico put together, I guess it was a week or two ago on the dev call. Lots of cool things in there about the actual technical development, but also like some questions about things going forward. So worth a read if you're interested, or and then also worth maybe some comments there. Some good comments from Nylon already. Cool. And that was it. Yeah, there was a lot of input from Augusto, Federico, and Milton. Yeah, I think that was, it's very cool. And I think we should be talking a lot more about this. I'm also thinking like the transition to 1.5 and 2.0, this is going to be like something that we can use for content over the coming months. And I think it's an important thing to educate everyone on the system and how things are changing and upgrading and whatnot. Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining. I think we can end it here. Hope everyone has a happy rest of the spring and the rest of the week. So
Thanks. Cheers.
awesome. Thanks everyone.